So I'm going to take this the guides off here, lower it down. Two little nuts. Can't get in there with the socket, too shallow. And it's right up against the side of the casing. Doesn't seem to have any washer on it. So, let's use this one. Let's lift it a little bit. It's got to be lowered down and comes out like that. Okay, so I think we need a bit of a clean up in there. The blade on these, strangely, to me it's strange anyway, but this is how they used to do it, runs on the this is the back, stops the blade going back as you push on it to cut, and it runs on the side there, so it's running down through there like that and pushing against this bearing. I think most modern ones you actually run on that face rather than the side, but in doing that down the side here, this edge is actually quite sharp. It sharpened it all up. So yeah, just be careful of that. I feel that's quite sharp. It seems to be okay. I have greased it recently, but at the moment it's okay. It's running all right. Maybe we could change it, but I've got to clean it up anyway, quite obviously, and get this to slide better, because it goes in a jerk. You end up slamming your fingers underneath the bloody thing. So I've got to get that all cleaned up and running smoothly. So I think one of the issues with this adjustment is that this hexagonal steel shaft has got a chrome coating on it, and it runs through an aluminium casting, and you can feel it's quite rough. So it's binding. Now I've put oil in it and grease on it, but it still binds. So now I've taken it apart, taken the adjuster out, and inside it doesn't go directly onto the shaft. It goes onto what it looks to me as like it's a copper or brass plate in there, which then presses onto the hexagonal shaft. So I want to take it off. Now there is a nut on the bottom, which you could undo and just drive it off the bottom, but I suspect that, I don't know whether that's keyed in there or not, but obviously that has got to be lined up in the right direction, facing in the right direction when you put it back on again. So rather than disturb that nut, I found that you can take just knock the cap off the top, and now I'm going to attempt to get this off the shaft here. It's coming off, it's still quite stiff. There we are. Whoa, there we go. So that's that. Yeah, and there indeed is the plate. Now that rubs up on down on the shaft here. So basically like that. It's the nut causing pressure, the bolt causing pressure on it to hold it in one place. But as you can see, it's a bit gunky. So it needs to clean off. Get some diesel and clean that off. And all around here as well. Got to get all that out. Now, a couple of guides. These are wooden ones. I'm not sure whether they were originally wooden, but the chap I got it from, he made these little hardwood blocks for the guides. I'll take those out. Just make sure we don't need to take all this apart. So just put it together. Now we've got a bit of a clean up. Now I think what I might do is put a bit of emery paper over that, just to clean it up a bit. Try and get some of that roughness off, because it's corroded with the chrome. So we can make that smoother. Then we get it back in again. Right, I think it's fairly obvious how this goes back together again, but for the avoidance of error and frustration, let's just go through it. So there's the brass spring, goes into the base of the casting, and obviously that's the side. It's got a sort of a, well, let's show you the back of the side of it. So it's that shape, it's dished. Okay, so that's where the screws goes into it. The adjuster, big knob adjusting screw goes on, and that is the side that goes up and down on the hexagonal shaft. So we want that side, that mark, to be in there, on top of there like that. Okay, now with that arrow on that side there, those two arrows, up and down arrows, so that it goes back on exactly the way it was before. If we take the whole assembly and we need to push the hex out, so okay, so it's like that. You can see the orientation of it. So that goes through the casting over the top of the brass spring, and then of course it's sprung loaded slightly, so you have to push that down in order for it to come out the top. So it's a matter of, it's not terribly difficult, but it does need a bit of effort, perhaps even a bit more than I'm anticipating. There we go, there we go. It goes on, and then it just goes onto there like that. Okay, so alright, so that's the way that's the correct way of positioning it. Okay, and the arrows, they'll be on the outside of the machine where you can see it. Not that terribly important, it could go up the other way, but the arrows will be on there. I don't think there's any other reason. It's identical whichever way you go. But so then we put the big black adjusting knob, goes in there, and that puts pressure on the back of that spring to lock it in place. Now it's not lubricated yet, so it's a bit difficult. That's on there, and then they've got a little cap, fancy cap, that goes on the top, which I'll just tap on like that. Okay, so that's back together again. Now we just need to pop it back into the machine. Okay, let's put this back in again. So I need to make sure this is up to the top of its travel, otherwise you won't be able to get to these bolts. So you just pass it through there like that. Interestingly, there are no little washers. I would have thought there would even be some washers behind these nuts, but in fact I would put some on there, apart from the fact that there isn't enough thread to accept a washer as well as a nut, so a little bit odd. I don't know why it would be, they would be so short. I can't imagine that the blade would get, the saw blade would get anywhere near it. It's not like it's going to be sticking out any further. And there we are, it hasn't got any on there, so we'll have to put it back as it was because it's not long enough. See, they actually come right to flush to the bolts actually come flush to the top of the nut. Right, now there's a little bit of adjustment in this. They're elongated holes, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to run at the moment. Obviously we need to make it to line up with the slot that the blade runs through. I'm just going to put it somewhere it looks about right. Centre of the guides down there, but whether it needs to be moved that way or that way, I don't know, but so long as the blade's going through the slot equally, I can't imagine it'll make a lot of difference. But bearing that in mind, we may need to make some adjustments. We will tighten it up. I would imagine that this needs to be 90 degrees to the table. So maybe we'll do that to start with. Just for the moment, we'll just tighten it up. As long as it's in line with the slot of the blade to go through. We can make some fine adjustments on that in a bit.